Hey guys, welcome to Amy Ulmer Yoga. This one is for Carmen, who requested beginner's yoga. So if there's something you'd like to see, please comment, let me know, and be sure to subscribe. So we'll start seated, and you might want to sit up on the edge of a blanket if you have one, and that's just to get your hip points in line with your knees. And when you're first starting, your knees may be raised up. You can always sit on multiple blankets or blocks, even a bolster to start. And that's also to get your pelvis tilted forward instead of arching in your low back. So keeping that natural inward curve of your low back if you can. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Close your eyes, or you can keep a soft gaze out in front and down towards the floor. And just start to notice your breath. A lot of times when we're anxious or just in our daily lives, we're just breathing from our chest. So see if you can fill up your belly as you inhale. And exhale, release. Take a couple of more cycles of breath, releasing any thoughts no longer serving you. Up nice and tall, the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling, the chest lifted. Soften the muscles in your face. And now start to slightly constrict the base of the throat so that your inhales and exhales make a slightly audible sound that's audible to you. Maybe it sounds like waves of the ocean or wind through the pines. Make your inhales and exhales even. And then gently blink your eyes open. And we'll make our way to the all fours, setting your blanket off to the side if you have one. And just coming to hands and knees, bringing your wrist under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Spinning the eyes of the elbows forward, drawing ribs and navel in. And you're sending the energy up your arms and not collapsing down. Make sure your ankles are in line with your knees and moving down towards the mat. And then as you inhale, arch the back and draw the heart through the arms. Gaze forward. As you exhale, press the mat away and round into your upper back, tucking the chin and the tail. Inhale, arching. And exhale, rounding. Just going with your own breath a couple more times. Good. Then we'll find stillness. Walk your hands a little more forward of your shoulders. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back to down dog. Down dog is hard when you first start. Make sure your hands are hip distance, hands shoulders distance, feet hips distance. Spread your fingers wide and make sure your whole hand is pressing down. Now, if your wrists ever start to bother you, like so in dolphin dog, or you can bring your hands to the foamy blocks. Gaze forward in between your hands and slowly step your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Let your head hang heavy. If you'd like, you can sway a little side to side. You can take hold of opposite elbows. Good. Then slowly ragdoll your way up to stand, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. So we always start with the foundations in yoga, with your foundation, which is your feet. So look down at your feet and take them about 6 inches apart. Spread your toes, lift your toes, and place them back down on the mat. Press firmly through all 4 corners of your feet. Some teachers say outer edges of the feet need to be parallel. That's going to depend on your anatomy. The important thing is that your knees track right in the middle of your feet. You're lifting your kneecaps, in other words, engaging your quadriceps, lightly engaging your core so that your low back feels lifted and supported. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Lift your chest. The crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling, and you're lengthening through the sides of the waist, the side body. Nice. And there are elements in mountain pose in every standing pose in yoga. Now we'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Press through the feet and lean up and over towards the left. Gaze up under your right armpit. Good. Then inhale, reach both arms up. Take hold of left wrist with right hand. Press through the feet and lean up and over towards the right. Gaze up under your left armpit. Draw ribs and navel in. Good. Then inhale back to center. This time bring your hands to your low back. A lot of times we stand with our ribs flared and our butt sticking out. See if you can draw that in to support you, and keep that as you bring your hands to your low back. Press through your feet and lift up and over an imaginary bar behind you. Little standing back bend. Elbows draw towards each other. Good. Then come back up to stand. And so you're at the top of your mat. You'll step out wide with your left foot. Right toes face straight forward. Back edge of your left foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Bend into your right knee for warrior 2. So make sure that the right knee is tracking right in the middle of the right foot. Reach through the arms and gaze over your right fingertips. Good. Then come forward, flip your right palm, reverse warrior. Left hand slides down the back leg any amount. Breathe into your right side. And then as you exhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh and reach your left arm straight up. So again, right knee is tracking in the middle of the foot. Back leg is really strong to anchor you. Spin your chest and your belly up towards the ceiling. You can gaze up towards the ceiling. And now look down. Start to straighten your right leg. Right hand can come to your shin, or if you've got a block, it comes to the outside of the right foot. Reach your left arm up. So straightening your right leg without locking out in the knee. And then reaching through both arms again, drawing ribs and navel in. Gaze softly straight ahead. Nice, and let the top arm carry you back up, back to warrior two. Bend into your right knee. Good, and then parallel your feet, straighten the legs, spinning to the long edge of the mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, fold. Knees can be bent. Bring the hands down either to blocks or to the mat. Keep a long spine as you fold in between the legs. And again, outer edges of the feet are parallel, or you're slightly pigeon-toed. So toes in, the heels slightly out. Keep the legs strong. And then inhale up halfway, lengthen the spine. Bring hands to hips, bend the knees, and press all the way up. Okay, then we'll just switch sides. So we'll turn the right toes 90 degrees, step forward to the top of the mat. Now step out wide with your right foot, back edge of the foot parallel with the back edge of the mat. Bend into your left knee and keep it tracking in the middle of your left foot. Make sure you've got a nice long stride. Bend towards 90 degrees with that left knee, gaze over the left fingertips. Back leg is strong. Hug your muscles to the bone, and then come forward, flip your left palm, reverse your warrior. Good, then exhale, left forearm to left thigh, reach your right arm straight up. Keep long on this left underneath side of you. Don't let it crunch. Keep that left knee tracking in the middle of the foot. And just for now, gaze softly straight ahead. And then slowly straighten that left leg. Bring your left hand to a block, shin, foot, or floor. I still need the blocks. And then reach through your arms. Gaze softly straight ahead. Draw the low belly in. Then let the top arm carry you back up. Warrior two. Parallel your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. First, lengthen your tailbone down towards the mat, or in other words, just draw your ribs and navel in, and then hands to your waist. Exhale, fold. Hands come down to the mat or blocks. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Keep the weight equal in your feet. A lot of times we rock back towards the heels, so you might rock a little more forward towards the balls of your feet. Good, then inhale up halfway. Hands to hips, bend the knees, rise back up. Turn the left toes out 90 degrees, and then just step that right foot forward to the top of the mat, and we'll do a little balancing. So you might want a wall for tree pose. If in that case you would just bring your right leg up to the wall, take your right hand to the wall, and then turn your left knee out. Bring the left sole of the foot anywhere above or below the right knee. Yeah. So find a spot to take your gaze that's not moving, and be prepared to fall over. And then find that the elements of mountain pose. So the standing leg, if you're having trouble balancing, you can keep it a little bent. Keep your quads engaged, the ribs and navel drawing in, the chest lifted, crown of the head reaching up. And if you'd like, you can reach the arms up overhead. You can let your tree sway in the wind. And then when you're ready, come back. And we'll just switch sides. So shifting the weight into your left foot, or bringing your left leg up to a wall and standing next to the wall. You want the weight mostly in the ball and the heel, and you're kind of gripping the mat with your left foot, right sole of the foot, anywhere above or below the knee. You can start with hands at heart center. Find a spot to take your gaze and keep the breath steady. And the foot presses into the leg back into the foot. Your sacrum moves forward and the right knee moves back. And all of those actions work to stabilize you, or not, in this position. Then reach your arms up if you'd like, and if you'd like, let your tree sway in the wind. You might fall out of it like me. And then when you're ready, come back to stand. So you're at the top of your mat. Step your left foot back. The edge of the foot is at a 45-degree angle. Now you're squaring your hips up towards the front edge of the mat, bending into your right knee, reaching the arms up for Warrior One. So Warrior One's kind of weird. You might have to take your legs a little wider to get your hips towards squaring with the front of the mat. You don't have to jam anything. Reaching through your arms, pressing that back thigh back, lifting up through the back ribs, tuning into your breath. Good, then slowly straighten that right leg and fold into pyramid. So I like to have blocks framing my right foot. Just fold over that right leg and draw your right hip back so we're still squaring up the hips. It's okay if that right knee is a little bent. And then inhale up halfway, lengthen the spine. Bring your hands to your hips and press through the feet. Come all the way up. Step the back foot forward. Step the right foot back on a 45-degree angle. Left toes out 90 degrees, so straight forward. Then bend into the left knee, squaring up the hips towards the front as best you can, pressing the back thigh back, drawing ribs and navel in, reaching through your arms. The arms are arrow straight. Find your feet, seal the outer edge of your back foot. Good, then slowly straighten your left leg without locking out in the knee and fold over the leg. So I like to have blocks framing my front foot. Draw your left hip back so you're still squaring up your hips and fold over the leg, keeping a long spine. Good, then inhale, come halfway up, hands to hips, press through the feet, come all the way up, step the back foot forward, forward fold. So we'll inhale, start to bend your knees, reach your arms up by your ears for chair pose. Again, drawing ribs and navel in. And then sink down a little bit more, a little bit more. Bring your hands down to the mat and come all the way down to a seat, or all the way down onto your back. So coming down and hugging the knees into the chest, or you can hug behind your thighs. It's whatever works better. You can rock a little side to side. And I actually forgot something on your stomach, so just flip over onto your stomach and get long on your mat, so lengthen your legs behind you. Bring your chest down and slide your hands back until your wrists are under your elbows. And then activate your legs. On an inhale, lift your chest, low cobra. So stay really low and maybe even lift your hands so you're just using your back muscles. And then you can bring your hands down and press them down to lift your chest a little higher if it's available. And then lower all the way down. You can rest your forehead down. And again, inhale. We'll press through the hands, lift up, lift your chest, your shoulder blades, roll down the back. And then exhale, lower down. We'll roll over now onto your back. And bring the soles of the feet to the mat about hip distance apart. The arms alongside the body. Broaden your chest. On an inhale, press through your feet to lift your hips up any amount. And then option to interlace fingers, roll on to your shoulders if you're taking that option. Firm your inner thighs in towards each other. Good, then lower upper back, middle back, low back, and just rest a moment. We'll set up for one more bridge, so arms alongside the body with the palms down. On an inhale, press through the feet to lift your hips any amount. You can stay here or interlace fingers and roll onto the shoulders. Good, then lower all the way down. And bend your knees in towards your chest and then straighten your legs any amount. The arms flop out alongside you with the palms up. So you can bend your knees a little bit if your hamstrings are tight. Good, then bend the knees, the arms go out to a T with the palms up. Just let the knees go over to the left and gaze over your right shoulder. Try to ground your right shoulder as best you can. And inhale, come back to center, and then just go over to the other side. Draw the knees in and over to the right, gazing over the left shoulder, and letting the shoulders relax. Feeling the breath as it moves through the body. And then gently come back to center and hug the knees into the chest. Option 2, take happy baby, reaching for the outer edges of the feet and drawing the knees in towards your armpits. I actually used a strap when I first started because my hips were so tight. You can also grab your ankles if the outer edges of the feet aren't available. You can grab your shins or even behind your thighs. But the feet are flexed like you're going to stamp the sky, and the knees draw in towards your armpits. You're lengthening from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And if you'd like, you can rock side to side. I like to be still and happy baby. Lengthen from crown to tail. And then release. Bring the feet to the edges of the mat. Let the feet flop open. The arms flop open. The shoulder blades move underneath you and towards each other, or down your back. And legendary yogi BKS Iyengar said that Shavasana is the hardest pose. Shavasana means corpse pose because it's much easier to keep your body still than your mind still. So one thing that will help you keep your mind still is focusing on your breath, but let the breath be easy. Let it breathe you. Release all effort. And let your next inhale be a little deeper. And start to wiggle fingers and toes, and circle wrists and ankles. And let your head rock side to side. And then on an inhale, reach the arms overhead, stretch the legs. Gently roll off to one side and use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to an easy seat, keeping the eyes soft or closed. Sitting up nice and tall. Bringing hands together at heart center. Thank you all so much for joining me, sharing your practice with me. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.